Hello and welcome to the Ride with the Rebel video. I am the Rebel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Honda Rebel 500. I just want to make a quick distinction. This is the original handlebar for this bike. He now has 10-inch Ape Hangers on this thing. This is a really big difference from being so low to being so high. So we're going to take this for a ride. We're going to take a look at it, going to test out, see what it's like. I had done initial impressions a little while back, quite a while back actually. But today we're going to take it, we're going to do another review now that it has Ape Hangers. He's got some saddlebags now. He still has this custom rack, which he built himself, so the saddlebags are attached to that custom rack. Nicely welded on, they don't move at all, they're awesome. I don't think you can see them, but my pegs that I mentioned in my other video about mine, he has them as rest pegs now on his bike. So we're going to take this for a little bit of a ride and see what it's like with these really high up Ape Hangers. Just going to get in position here. Turn her on. Need to let it warm up as well. Wow, this is a totally different feeling than what it was before. This will be interesting. I'm going to back her up. Got to really duck well because this is standard peg position, so they're underneath me. Makes it very hard to waddle with my big legs. Okay. That's going to be interesting. So this is definitely not my bike. This is Biosphere's bike. I'm not used to it. I've only ridden it once or twice before, and that was before he had the Ape Hangers put on. So this is going to be an interesting ride. I'll give my impressions, my reviews on this as I go along. So let's get on. So first thing I'm going to note is that the signals are in a different position than normal for me. His horn is in that position instead. This is definitely a totally different feeling with these Ape Hangers. Ooh, he's also got a throttle assist, which that's why I revved it there. It's not bad. So because I'm 6 foot, 350 pounds, the standard seating position is very strange for me. I feel like I'm hugging it and cradling it kind of differently. So a little bit about this bike. It's the Rebel 500. The controls are just slightly different than mine. So whereas on the Kawasaki 650, most of your light controls are over here, so you have your hazards, your high beams, and your horn and your signal. I should say signal then horn. On this bike, it's your overhead lights, your horn, then your signals, and on this side is your hazards. Slightly different. So we're going to see how this handles, because I remember before, tight turns at low speeds, you had to push to make sure it didn't, turn too quickly, and at high speeds, you had to push to make sure you actually turned. So we're going to see how this one handles. So far it's actually kind of a nice ride. He has a cushioned seat, so my butt, the last video my butt did hurt a bit because I've been running for the last 5 days every day and not giving it a little bit of rest. I do find that his throttle, I'm not used to his throttle assist. And that's kind of funky, but that's personal choice. He finds that his wrist hurts a lot because he's got to turn a lot with his throttle, so it ends up cramping his hand. So he's a throttle assist, so he doesn't use his hand, he uses his palm to throttle. So it's not too bad. I mean, this is really not a bad ride. I kind of like this. I like the handle position. I really, really do. Just the thing I'm not used to is the fact that it's got the standard position. Outturn was nice. Trying to switch gears here. It's kind of strange for me because, like, again, I sit in a forward peg position all the time. I don't normally sit in a standard position. The benefit to the standard position is if you're coming up to a bump, you can sort of stand up a bit and definitely adjust. You know, like on my bike, I can't sit up. I can't, you know, adjust my butt. So this is definitely a nice feature of the bike. Not bad. I'm actually really enjoying this. I need to get up here though. Okay, I'm not sure what gear I'm in. This doesn't have a gear indicator. And I'm not used to the noise as to what gear we're supposed to be in, etc. So I don't really know. Wow. These handlebars make a huge, huge difference. I'm not pushing much. I used to have to really push hard to go around this corner with his bike. And I'm barely pushing at all. Wow. Now he wants me to push and do a really like tight turn, right? But I feel you don't really need to. With his other handlebars, he was down here, and it was really hard to control. With these 10-inch Ape Hangers, it makes a big difference. Big difference. Like I'm really, really amazed at how big of a difference it was from last time I rode it. So we're going to take this on the same run I did last time with my other bike. Let's see what it's like. I'll give a play-by-play because again, I don't ride this bike on a regular basis. You'll notice here, I don't know if you can see it because you're sort of in the stitching area here, but he's got his own custom cables. This is a custom cable. These are ones that are made by another company to come on here, but couldn't get this one properly. So he had to custom fit it, custom make it. But he has all the original cables for the other one. But this is totally different because he had to have higher up. Like, I mean, you're going 10 inches. Like the other one was barely even a riser. Like it's insane. But I'm really, really impressed with how much nicer of a ride this is compared to last time I rode his bike. Really, really nice. Wow, I'm really amazed. So this is considered a sports cruiser. This is considered a sports cruiser just like mine is. Having a hard time shifting on this. I'm not used to shifting. I don't even know what a gear I'm in. I think it isn't too high of a gear there. I don't feel it shift like I feel my bike shift. It's kind of weird. But again, if I was used to this bike, it'd be a different story. So I'm not penalizing the bike for that. I'm not penalizing the bike at all, actually. This is a really nice bike. This is also a starter bike, just like mine is. It's a 500cc, whereas mine's a 650. It's still a really great bike. Again, it's a commuter. It's meant for, you know, anything under 80. Trying to get faster and faster. Like mine, I can get up to 120, 140 real quick. His is not so fast on the throttle when you get the high gear. It doesn't have that same range. It doesn't have a tachometer, so I can't see what RPM I'm in. I can't see it. I don't know. It was very comfortable. I do notice a lot more wind on my knees though, because his tank is a lot thinner than mine. Which actually makes it a little bit more easier to, you know, grip, and it makes it easier to turn and stuff if you can actually hug your tank with your legs a lot easier. So I mean, it's not a bad thing that it's a skinnier tank. It makes it more maneuverable in my opinion. This is actually a really comfortable ride. I mean, other than my foot position, I know I'm going to cramp. Within the half hour, I'm going to cramp for sure because I'm not used to having my legs under me. But when you come to train tracks and bumps in the road, this is the best bike for it because you can lift your butt off the seat. You can't do that with the Vulcan 650, the Vulcan S. Like I said, I can lift my butt up no problem. You know, I can do whatever I need to with it, especially with the handlebars the way they are. It's a lot easier because if you're down here, it was a kind of weird feeling. Wow. So again, starter bike. It is a commuter cruiser, meant to go to the office and back, not meant for long distances, but again, he's put saddlebags on, he's put a better cushion seat to make it a little more comfortable for the longer rides. But after a while, your butt still gets to hurt. I know the seat is a little bit smaller than mine, so it's not cupping my butt as much. So I don't know if it's going to hurt my butt as much, right? So I'm not really sure. Oh, here's some more riders. Although I do feel his bike is a little bit more easier to maintain because he has that throttle helper on there. It's easier to maintain speed. Like I'm actually, on my bike I was going like 70 and an 80 because I wasn't paying attention because I was talking with you guys. But his, I've been sitting in the 80s, no problem. It's been great. So we're coming into a 50. I'm gonna have to shift down. I don't know what gear I'm in. I'm assuming I was in 6th. No, I'm in 5th. Still have a bit of a rattle, so I'm gonna go down to 4th. 4th feels great. So same sort of thing. I guess it should be in 4th and 50-ish. I just can't get over the feeling of having these bars. Like going around a turn, coming onto the highway here, I had no problem pushing it. I didn't have to force it to go the direction I want to. It wasn't going to like fold in on itself. Damn. Okay, so here's some train tracks. I'm going to lift my butt. That will let my butt last a little bit longer because it's the vibrations that really kill your posterity, your butt. Going over so many bump stuff, it really starts to hurt, and that's the one thing that I may have to give a tag against for my Vulcan, is the fact that you can't easily move your butt and reposition without stopping. But definitely a different position. He has these front forward pegs that he puts his feet on to rest. And I think that's the weirdest fucking position. That is the weirdest feeling. Okay, back to the regular pegs. Yeah, those were the peg replacement pegs I had bought before I figured how to fix my clutch. So I should be back in 6th. It's a nice feeling. Just gonna try and. It is a little bit slower on the response. Not by much though. Like this still has balls. Like I said, for these commuter bikes, the sweet spot is between 70 and 80 clicks. You get your best gas mileage out of it. He has about the same range I have. He has a 4-liter less tank, but he also has a smaller engine, and he gets about the same mileage I have, about 300 320 clicks get out of a tank. He likes to go a bit faster on the roads, I find. There we go. The nice thing about these risers too, holy shit, I can see the mirrors. My shoulders aren't blocking the mirrors. My arms aren't blocking the mirrors like they were. That's a big difference. Huge difference. Huge. I can see clearly behind me. I can actually see better in these mirrors than mine. And I know I said I don't like the round mirrors, and I really don't. But you can really see everything behind you. And there goes one of those Harley bastards that wouldn't wave. Wow. I really do get a better view than my mirrors. I forgot how good his mirrors are, but I don't have to move my arms in to see or anything. I can just see clearly either side, no problem. I really like this. One of the other things too that I mentioned, I noticed about our bikes, the difference between his bike and my bike is he can see his brake fluid in a little opening here towards him. Mine's on the other side. Like, how am I supposed to check my brake fluid if I'm driving? I can see his perfectly. Wow. I'm really impressed with this bike now compared to before. The Ape Hangers do a hell of a lot. Hi guys. There we go, he waved. It's definitely a different feeling. Like, my arms are up higher. They're actually higher than mine a bit, I think. Mine aren't this high. But it's really a nice feeling. It's strange. I know my last review on this bike was, I had some negative points to it, and the fact that, turning it and stuff, and it's great for those who are 5'9" and under, but to tell you the truth, I've been on the road for a bit now, and I'm not really cramping much. Although I do still find his clutching different than mine, and that's only because of the fact that it's not my bike. His controls are more like, it's hard to describe. Oh, that's a lot of. So because his pedals, his pegs are standard underneath you as opposed to forward or rear. His controls are slightly different too, where my controls are like, you have your peg and then my controls are up here, and my brake is up here, so I can put my foot down like that. His are down here, and I gotta tip my foot forward to up a gear. Speaking of, yeah, that throttle assist, man. I'm definitely not used to it, but she's easy to ride. Like, I'm really impressed. I cannot say that enough of how much these Ape Hangers have changed the bike. It's got some good pep to it. It's comfortable-ish. Like I said, for somebody my height, I might cramp up a bit later on, because my legs are at a, like, I don't know, like a 50-degree angle, 60-degree angle instead of a 90. My legs come down and then back as opposed to down and then forward. But I'm really impressed. I don't know. This is a weird feeling. I mean, it's weird because I'm riding a totally different bike than my own. But the way that his handles are reminds me of my own. Drop down a couple gears to I'm in 50. But I will say my butt's getting a little sore though. But that's not because of the bike itself. It's really because of the fact that I've been riding a couple days straight and not taking much of a break. Now, the one thing I have to say with this bike is you really have to listen to the engine. It doesn't have a tachometer. I don't know what range I'm in, what RPMs I'm at. All I have is a speedometer and the sound of the engine to know kind of what gear I should be in. Like, I'm going about 50 now, and I do hear it bogging down a bit, but I tapped down twice, so I'm in 4th. So it's kind of strange. His gearing's a lot different than me. It doesn't have as much range as mine does. So his gearing is definitely different, and I'm really not used to his pedals. Like I said, that's not a fault of the bike, that's a fault of the driver or the rider. But the throttle assist at higher speeds is great. I can feel that I can actually maintain speeds a lot easier because I don't even have to use my hands. I'm just using my wrist to keep the speed. As long as I keep in the same position, I'm going at normal speed, which is great. So there's a few more corners up ahead. I want to really test out that turning on this thing, because I'm absolutely amazed at how easy it is to turn now that he has these 10-inch risers, as opposed to his bike was down here. Like, literally his handles were here. And it means you're leaning forward more, right? And it was harder to turn back and forth. But here you have a little bit more leverage. It still has, you push on it, you get some really nice response out of it. I don't feel as much jiggly with his bike if I'm in a higher gear at lower speeds. I mean, I still feel a bit of bog down, but I don't feel the shake. But it's nice, and I feel like I don't know, it's really nice. So I would definitely recommend this bike for starters, with the modification. Without the modification, it's very, very hard to drive, or at least I found it very hard to drive because I'm used to a bike where I just need to lean and that's it. This time I'm coming to a turn here, let's see if I need to push or if I need to just lean. Oh, it's not that big of a turn, so just leaning's fine. Wow. So I find it very easy to maneuver. Like doing slalom and stuff with this is very easy now compared to when we had the flat one there. Oh, somebody left their Timbits on the ground. So overall, I think this is actually a great starter bike. Even without the handlebars. Hey guys. So even without the handlebars, up the way they are, even without that, I think it's a great starter bike. It'll get you more prepped. Oh, there's that skunk on the road. Ooh, oh god, the smell. Oh, horrid. So yeah, this will prep you more for a big boy bike than mine would. Like mine, like I said, it's very easy. There's nothing like that bike because it's so easy to turn. But at the same time, if you're moving up to a bigger bike, you want to have a bike that you have to fight with a bit, because a lot of the bigger bikes, you do have to counter steer a lot. You have to counterbalance a lot. You have to push on your handlebars. And that's what makes this a great starter bike, is the fact that you don't have to worry about going up, because you have to do that with this bike stock. With this bike with the upgrade, it's a little bit different. Like I'm not pushing on this at all. I'm just leaning. And it's kind of a weird feeling to be able to do that on this style of bike. But again, for long distances, these bikes weren't meant for that. These bikes were meant for commuting. They're very, very thin, small bikes, very nimble, easy to get through city traffic. On the big highways like the highway we're on now, going for long trips, you want to have a bagger if you're going intercity, you want to have a touring pack if you're going interprovincial or interstate or intercountry, or longer rides that you need more than a day, more than 2 days to get to, right? But for a commuter bike, to be honest, this has been great for long distances. I think this is fine. Just know, like, again, that after an hour and a half, you're going to need to take a break because your butt's going to be sore. And the more you ride without brakes, the more and more tender your derriere is going to be. I'm still just amazed at how wonderful this ride is and how easy it is to go around. My arms are in a nice, comfortable position. I'm not too low. I'm not leaning forward. But again, for a person 6 foot, the standard position for this bike, because you have such a low seat height, you maybe get some cramping. Okay, so this one I had to push a bit. Okay, but not as much as I had to before. I didn't have to force it as much. I just had to push lightly to go around that turn. It was fine. I probably could have leaned it, but pushing was nice. And I find that on this bike is a little bit more responsive around corners. Mine, even if you push it a bit, I can take corners a bit wide sometimes, and I don't like that. But this one's very small, nimble. So yeah, I'm going to give this a great rating for a beginner bike. It's really nice. So the only things I think the newer ones, the newer versions, they come with the button light up front, the LED button light. The Vulcan S650 hasn't gone to an LED light yet. Both me and Biosphere have replaced the bulb with LED bulbs. But the new assembly for his bike here is a button light. It's got 4 little LED lights, really, really nice. And I think the new ones come with the gear indicator. But I'm not too sure, don't quote me on that. And I really wish they would open it up like they did the 1100 and have a little bit more of a display. I think the 1100 may have a tachometer, I don't know. But it definitely has a bigger display. This still has the line across it. Like, it's a big round display with like nothing. There's a big empty spaces where, you know, that's where his lights and stuff are, but I mean, they could have done a better job with it. But there's no tachometer, no gear indicator. So it forces you to listen to the engine and you know, really be in tune with your bike, as opposed to me. I can see what tack I'm going at. I know what gear I need to be in. I see the eco, so I know if I'm going the right speeds. I'm not speeding up too much. I have the gear indicator, so I know what gear I'm in. But that's kind of cheating. And most of the big boy bikes, you're going to find they don't have the gear indicator. Some of them don't have a tachometer. Some of them, they just have your speed indicator. That's it, and your fuel tank. So again, this is a great starter bike for that reason alone, because it's going to get you used to the big boy bikes a lot quicker than mine would. Mine, like I said, you'd have to relearn. This one here, I don't think you have to relearn much. You're still listening for the tune of the engine to know when to switch gears. That's really all you need. But I'm really surprised. I cannot get over how different having 10-inch Ape hangers on this bike makes it feel so much comfortable, so much more relaxed than riding this. It's so nice. Downshifting on this bike is so easy. It's so nice, but upshifting, again, I'm not used to it. But it's comfortable. I think I'm in too low gear. It sounded like it was revving high. So yeah, he's in between gears here. It's either too high or too low when you get into like a 50 or a 40. I don't like his brake. You got to push down way too low. Oh, I'm in neutral somehow. How the hell did I get to neutral? Turn off the blinkers. Okay, so now I'm in third. I think I'm in fourth. So I guess I'll give my final thoughts. I've been on this for about, I don't know, 15-20 minutes maybe. I really do think this is a great bike, great starter bike. It's definitely not as easy to ride as mine, but I'm pretty sure that's the point. My other bike, I said, there's no bike like it. This bike is more like a bike you'd normally ride. Just gonna get up to speed here. Yeah, I'm in top gear. Okay, so I'm in sixth. So it's a great bike. I still have the feeling that, you know, a 6-foot person, 290, it's not quite the right build. But if you're a shorter person, 5'10", 5'9", $180, $160, I think this would be a great starter bike for you. It's a great starter bike for women because it's a low seat. Women are normally their smaller stature. This is a great starter bike for them. The Rebel 250, the Rebel 300, so the Rebel 300, Rebel 500. 300 is great for city. Don't go on back highways like this. We won't have the power for it. The 500 is great for, you know, going out in the country and riding on streets like this, on little highways and stuff. It's a great starter bike for anybody, men, women. It's got a great low seat height. I would definitely recommend getting the 8 bars. I'm so surprised at how well it handles with 8 bars. It's just amazing. So yeah, I would highly recommend this as a starter bike. So I do have to push a bit. I don't have to push much, but I do have to push a bit to go around small corners. But it's nothing. That's nothing. Yeah, great starter bike. It's really great for an intermediate bike to learn how to ride, to get to the bigger boy bikes, to get to this, 1600, 1700 bikes. even 1,000. Just an upgrade to this here, even to the Rebel 1100. It's great to start on a smaller bike to get used to how motorcycles run, how good the speeds are and stuff. But because you have to push on this one, even lightly, it gets you more prepared for that big bike feeling. It's very nice, small, nimble. It's got a narrow tank compared to mine. You won't find a narrow tank on a bigger bike. So you're going to get used to having your legs spread a little bit more. This one here, I can put my legs right up against it. It's not too uncomfortable. But my bike is, I have to be out here because the tank is so much wider. But other than that, this is an absolutely great starter bike. Highly recommend at least 10-inch Ape Hangers. Get your arms up as opposed to down here. You won't be leaning so much. Your back will thank you for it. Biosphere has had the seat upgrade with some medium density padding. I would definitely recommend that if you're trying to go for, okay, here's a nice turn. Pushing just a bit. Had to push there a bit, but yeah, it's perfect. So we had to have the padding put in, so if you want to go longer distances, definitely upgrade the seat. The seat itself apparently feels like cardboard to most people, like you're sitting on cardboard. So definitely upgrade it. So I'm going to push a bit on this one. Yeah, so you do have to push. You do have to push, but nowhere near as much as you had to with the regular bars. So the upgrades he has are great for this bike. It makes it a little more comfortable for longer distances. Unfortunately, my butt's already hurting, but that's because, again, I haven't taken any breaks in the last 5 days. I've been riding every day for a couple hours. Your butt's going to get sore. But if you're just looking for a great commuter bike, a great starter bike, I can't say I don't recommend this. I recommend it for sure. I recommend both our bikes as starter bikes. Now that I feel this bike now, gone on for a little bit longer of a ride, and taking a look at the way it feels and stuff, the way it corners, the way it turns now with the 10-inch Ape Hangers, it feels great. And I'm not cramping yet. I'm actually really surprised. Being in the standard position, I thought I'd cramp a lot more because my feet are underneath me. The only thing that I find difficult, and that's because I'm used to forward pegs, is the shifting. That's the only thing I have a difficulty with on his bike. And the throttle control at slow speeds, because his throttle is meant for higher gear, which is great. So I know he's used to it, and he's used to going lower speeds with it and keeping it up there. I'm not. So this isn't my bike, this is his. And my impressions of it now, oh, a couple of bumps there, I could have lifted myself up for those. This is a great bike. This really is a great bike. But up at highway speeds and stuff, you're going to find that it's very hard to get up to speed on this bike, because again, it's a commuter bike. Its sweet spot is up to 80 kilometers an hour. You're going to be really good fuel efficiency. Anything above that, and you start to drain the tank a bit. And definitely on highway speeds, although you can take it on the highway again, just expect to fill up your tank more. And again, no windshield. You're going to get that chest pressure against you, and you're going to have a lot of wind in your helmet, which does make it ride uncomfortable. So just be forewarned about that. Again, just going to lift my butt a bit here, because that was a bit of a bump. But yeah, just be forewarned again. Highway riding on these bikes is not recommended. Yes, it is doable, but you're going to feel that pressure. You're going to feel the wind bubble in your head. I'm going to drop gears here. Dropping gears is easy on this bike, I find. Braking the way the brake is, because my brake is above my pegs and easy to hit with my foot, like my foot's angled, is you got to press down, and it feels kind of weird. Here I'm going to lift up, because I can. That's the nice thing about this bike, is that you can actually get your butt off the seats, so you don't get those major bumps into the butt, because that can really hurt. Last Canada Day, we went for a ride downtown, and I bruised my tailbone because I couldn't lift my seat, I couldn't lift my butt off the ground, and I hit a dip. Bumps are different than dips. Bumps, you're launched off the seat, you come back down, that's no problem. Dips, your bike goes down, you stay still, and your bike comes back up and hits you in the butt. So on a bike like this, great, because you can lift your butt up, you don't get hit by the bike. So yeah, so again, great starter bike. This bike is really amazing, especially with the 10-inch Ape Hangers. I feel more comfortable, my arms aren't falling asleep. I don't feel as cramped as I did before because I was leaning forward more on his bike, which Again, made my legs a little more discomfortable. Absolutely amazing. I would definitely recommend this bike as a starter. If I want to try and compare the two of them together, like compare it to my Vulcan, because I'm used to my Vulcan, I'm a little bit biased to it. I like having the gear indicator. I like having the revs. I like having a bigger bike. Like, this is a very small bike compared to mine. But to be honest, I can't really compare them. It's apples to oranges. He doesn't have as much range in his gearing, but it's still a pleasure to ride. I'm still going through small areas with ease. I just have to shift into a different gear. Going in slower gears, or slower speeds, you got to change gears a bit more. But again, you're going to do that on regular bikes too. The other thing I need to get used to is where his light switch is, his turning signals. Yeah, I'm getting used to his shifting now. Oh, nope, that didn't shift. There we go. I can sort of feel it now. Sometimes it doesn't shift, sometimes it does. I gotta feel that clunk in the shoe, in the toe. Oh, I hit the horns, the honkers, the blinkers. And that's because, again, I'm not used to his gearing, his console here. But this is absolutely amazing. I love it. So that's it for the video. I'm repeating myself over and over again. I'm sorry, guys. I can't get over how wonderful this bike is to ride now. So that's it for now. Safe riding, safe driving. Get yourself, you're starting off with a bike. Either of these two bikes, either my Vulcan 650 or this Rebel 500 is great. They both have their benefits and they both have some lacking. Like I said, they're not meant for highway, they're not meant for long travel, but you can make it work. Just rest yourself. Get yourself a day of rest in between. If you're riding for a day, rest your butt for a bit. But that's it. So that's my impression of this bike. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the next.